right, so once again, we are proving that our triangles are similar. Our first one is our angle-angle similarity. So if two angles of one triangle are congruent to the two angles of the other triangle, then our triangles are similar. So if we look at this example image, we have this 90-degree angle is congruent to this 90-degree angle, and then this angle is congruent to this angle. So just based off of these two angles on the first triangle being congruent to the two angles of the other triangle, then we can say that these two triangles are similar by the angle-angle similarity. Close your computers, please, and phones away, please. All right, so if we look at these two triangles, are these two triangles similar? Notice how we know for a fact that this angle is congruent to that angle, but what can we do with this one? Perfect. I didn't even think of doing it that way. Awesome job, yes. So Axel says that we can add this angle with this angle, and because 39 plus 51 is equal to 90 degrees, these two angles can equal to 90, which means this one is also equal to 90, and that gives us 180 degrees. Awesome job. I didn't even think of approaching it that way. Love it. You did? Awesome. Man, you guys are awesome. That's why I love hearing you guys talk. All right, so then this one is 51, which means that these two angles, this angle, and this angle, are congruent. So because we have two angles that are congruent, we can say that these two triangles are similar by the angle-angle similarity. Any questions on that one? All right, so while they are copying that one, those of you that are ready for the third one, go ahead and approach that one the same way or similar way. Joshua, phone away, please. In your bag. Thank you, sweetheart. You can take your notes in your notebook. I will be uploading these pictures or these notes on Google Classroom as soon as we're done. 2 lines, and this has 1 line. But when we're talking about similar triangles, do our sides have to be congruent? Not really, right? So does it matter the tick marks on these? Not really, but that's a good approach. What do we know about these two tick marks? So there's a reason for these tick marks. I'm sorry? The angles, what about the angles? They're congruent. So if this angle, remember the base angles, right, those sides are not congruent from one to the other, but this side is congruent to this side. Do you guys remember what kind of triangle that is? Close. Yes. Remember isosceles triangles? When you have two sides that are congruent, then their base angles are also congruent. So the information that these two sides are giving us, these congruent sides, is that this is also 68 degrees. And the same thing with the other triangle. The other triangle has 1 tick mark and 1 tick mark here. That just means that those two sides are congruent, which means what do we know about these base angles? They're also congruent. Do we know what the measurement of those angles are? Is it 62? No, right? How can we find out the measurements of those angles? Right, so good job, Josh. He says to subtract 62 from 180, which gives us 118. Perfect, Eva. So then now Eva says that we want to divide that by 2. So when we divide it by 2, we get 59 degrees, which means this angle is 59 and this angle is 59. So what can we tell about these triangles? Are they similar? Absolutely not. So these triangles are not similar because angles are not congruent. Sorry? I've been keeping up with grades really well this time. That was my New Year's resolution. You see? Push hard. Let's do this. Change is good. All right. Let's go on to my next similarity statement. And these are really just shortcuts. Here we go. Thank you for your patience, guys. All right. So here's my example image. We've got an angle. And when you're doing your assignment on your quizzes, you'll probably come up with some some figures where you'll have 3 sides and only 1 angle, or you'll have 2 angles with 2 sides. You want to be able to determine which ones you want to use. So let's say this angle here we know is congruent to this angle. So those are my congruent angles. Oh, thank you so much for letting me know. All right, can you guys see it now? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Axel. All right, so now we have this angle here is congruent to this angle. And now we have sides on both sides of that angle, right? So we need to determine that if those sides are what? Proportional, yes. So let's start with this side here. We've got 4 corresponds to what side on the other triangle? 6. Then we've got 6 here, and 6 corresponds to 9. So there are different ways that you can determine if 2 ratios are equal. We're going to do each one. For this one, I'm going to do cross multiplication. So we've got 6 times 6 is 36. And then multiply these two. 4 times 9 is also 36. So they are equal, which means they are proportional. So we've got 2 sides that are proportional with the included angle congruent. So then these are similar by the side angle side similarity. Okay, if you're ready for the next one, go ahead and start copying it down. Now notice that there's a triangle inside another triangle. Me being good in math, all of these numbers totally mess me up, and they make mistakes so easy for me to make. So I'm going to separate the triangles. Remember, we want to work smarter, not harder, and working smarter in this case would be to separate them. So I'm going to label WAL. There's my right angle. And then I'm going to draw the larger triangle, ACE, and then my right angle is on A. I'm going to label my small one first. So AW is this right here. That's 6. AL is 8. Now let's go for AE. And what is AE going to be equal to? 12. Good job. Remember, we need to add 6 and 6. That gives us 12. And what is AC? 16. Good. And how do we get 16? 8 plus 8. All right. We have an angle in between 2 sides. So let's set up our proportion. We've got 6 over 12 equals 8 over 16. And on this one, I'm going to show that they are similar, or they're proportional, or by simplifying them. We've got 1 over 2 equals 8 divided by 16 is also 1 over 2. And those are equal, which means my sides are proportional. Could you have done the butterfly or the cross multiplication? Yes, you could have. But we're just going to practice each different type of ways to determine if they're equal. And this one we just simplified. All right, so because they are similar, we're going to write the similarity statement. I'm going to write down similar by side angle side. So these 2 triangles are similar by side angle side. Question? All right, let's look at the next 2. We want to determine if these 2 are similar. Are these 2 triangles similar? Why? They both have angles. How many angles? Huh? 2 of them. Didn't we just learn this? How many angles do we need to determine that they're similar? 2 congruent angles. Do these have 2 congruent angles? Yeah. So these 2 are similar because this angle is congruent to this angle and this angle is congruent to this angle. So this is similar by angle similarity. Determine them similar by side angle side. Do we know what X is? No. Do we know what Y is? No. So can we say that they're similar? No. So in this case, we would not have enough information. And that's only if these angles were not congruent to each other. All right, let's go to the last similarity. And this similarity is just talking about the sides. So if we have 3 pairs of corresponding sides of 2 triangles are what? Sides are proportional. Sides proportional, angles congruent. Then the 2 triangles are similar. And we've already done this before, but now we can for sure say triangles are similar if all 3 sides are proportional to each other. So let's look at this one. And sometimes when you don't have a similarity statement, you can more or less tell which ones are corresponding, because the smallest side should be the same or corresponding to the smallest side of the other triangle, right? The largest side should be corresponding to the largest side. The medium side should be corresponding to the medium side. So let's look at this one first. We've got at 3 at ST, and 3 is corresponding to 9. Then we've got 4, and 4 corresponds to 12. And then we've got 5 to 15. Perfect. All right, so you can do, right, they're all equal to 1/3. That's if we simplify. Or you can use the calculator. You can put decimal form. So 3 divided by 9 is about 0.333. 4 divided by 12 is 0.333. And 5 divided by 15 is 0.333. Or you can do what Eva said. We can simplify each one, where each one would be simplified to 1/3. I did 2 3s in 1. So are all of our sides proportional? Yes. So then these 2 triangles are similar by the side similarity. Yes. I'm sorry? Okay, give me a second. All right, let's look at the next one. And what are our ratios on the next one? All right, 6 corresponds to 8. And then the other 6 corresponds to the 8 too, right? Right, 9 corresponds to 12. So let's simplify them all. And what do we get? You want to divide by what? 2? Okay, so if we divide by 2, we get 3/4. This one will be the same. And what do we divide the 9/12 by to simplify it? 3, and we get 3/4. So are our sides proportional? Are they all equal? Yes. So then these are similar by side. And then we're going to write our similarity statement. So let's start with C. C corresponds to G. And then we've got B. B corresponds to F. And then A corresponds to E. That's a good question. To divide by? Okay, so we would just, they're not giving us any angles, so we're obviously not going to look at the angles, right? All right, so what do we got? Good, so we've got 2/3, and then? Okay. Oh, 3/4.5, and then 4/6. All right, does everybody agree? Yes, awesome. If we simplified it, what did they all equal to? Did they all equal the same number? No? What's 2/3? If you put that in the calculator, what did you get? Anybody? Calculators? 2/3, 0.6. What do we get for 3 divided by 4.5? 0.6. And then what do we get for 4 divided by 6? 0.6. Uh-huh. So then are all the sides or the ratios proportional? Yes, because they're all equal, right? So then we can say that these 2 triangles are similar by the side similarity. And then we want to name the triangle or state the statement, our similarity statement. So we start with A, and A corresponds to what? F. Then we go B, B corresponds to E, good. And then C corresponds to D. Any questions?